Hi, my name is Chris Brandt. I'm the executive chef at Next Door Bar and Grill. Today we're going to do a little bit of striped bass. And the first thing I'm going to do is start by seasoning the striped bass. One of the things that's going to help with getting a nice sear on the fish is make sure it's nice and dry. So one thing that we do in the restaurant all the time is we always pat our fish and pack them, actually, the portions in paper towels. It'll pull a little bit of excess moisture from the fish, and it's going to help it to sear just a little bit better. The piece of equipment that I'm cooking on is called a plancha. It's very similar to an American-style flat top or griddle, but the main difference with it is that this is an electric heat source beneath it that runs very evenly throughout the metal. It gives me very, very even heating, and I can control right down to exact degrees and temperatures with this piece of equipment. It works great for searing, whether it's beef or fish. I'm going to actually do the ribeye on this in a little bit as well. We can do squid, scallops, anything on here. It's kind of just like a stepped-up version of a flat top. Since I want a nice crispy skin on this, I'm going to let it cook 70% of the way just on one side and let the heat start to carry up through the meat of the fish. And then at that point, we'll flip it over and get a nice light sear, just kiss the other side of it. You can see as the heat's starting to transfer up from the plancha through the fish that the flesh of the fish is starting to turn white. It's losing that opaqueness. So I'll just watch that heat transfer come up through by watching that white line kind of grow up and kind of start to rise to the surface a little bit. I've got carrot, leeks, a little bit of shiitake mushroom. We started this with just a touch of butter, salt, a little bit of pepper. It's a very, very simple dish, not too crazy with getting too funky with ingredients. Being in a market like Rochester, I think you can only push the envelope so hard, so far, so fast. I come from a very diverse background in cooking and worked in a lot of great places where we really did push the envelope further with trying to introduce new things to the market all the time. And what we're doing here at Next Door Bar and Grill is trying to introduce things to the Rochester dining scene, but also making sure that we're very comfortable in what we're doing. We offer everything from sushi to pizza, macaroni and cheese. We make a pomme frite or a French fry in-house from scratch. A lot of things that are a little more comfort level for most people. The best advice that I can give with cooking is you've got to cook from your heart. Any recipe that you come across or find is just a recipe. It's a guideline. It's not really a blueprint. Baking's a different story. Baking's a lot more science and chemical reaction behind it, but generally speaking, hot food cooking is more about knowing and understanding your ingredients, understanding your methods, and going in with a good, concise, clear plan as to what it is that you're trying to accomplish as your end product. I didn't go to culinary school until I was 21, so I kind of got a little bit of the immatureness that comes along with just being younger out of the way before I went to culinary school. And then once I went to culinary school, I was surrounded with people who had a similar passion. And I didn't even know how deep my passion was for food and cooking until I got surrounded by other people who had a similar passion, and I think it just kind of ignited the fire. You can see on this fish now that white opaqueness has really climbed up most of the way through the fish. Give this fish a flip. Got a nice crispy skin on it. I'm just going to finish the cooking process lightly on the other side. The gnocchi is just starting to plump up, which means it might be close to being finished. Another key thing too is you've got to taste everything that you're doing. If what you're cooking doesn't impress you, then it's not going to impress anybody else. So you've got to always taste what you're cooking. I had a sous chef when I was doing my apprenticeship at the Greenbrier who would run around the kitchen screaming all the time, if you're not tasting, you're not cooking. And I followed that philosophy or that mantra that he used to scream out all the time because it's so true. This is a little garlic butter that we make in-house. Kind of like the same garlic butter that you would use to make a garlic bread. It's got it's a lot of butter, garlic, a little bit of oregano, parsley, a little salt. We'll finish this out by melting that butter in there off the heat because I want the butter. I don't want it to break down. I just want it to melt into the sauce. So I'm just going to do a little like an first course or appetizer version of this. So this is an appetizer version of an entree that we have on the menu at Next Door Bar and Grill right now. This is striped bass, farm-raised bass, served over a house-made gnocchi that's plumped up in chicken stock with a little bit of vegetable and finished with a touch of garlic butter, finished with the organic kohlrabi sprouts that come from our organic research farm.